So welcome to the Node.js N-API Team meeting for August 12th, 2019. We'll follow our standard agenda, which is to see if there's any announcements and then look back through the things we've tagged for the current iteration. So does anybody have any announcements they'd like to share? Okay, if not, I'm going to pull up the milestone and I will share my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see what's there. Oops, sorry. Try to, there we go. Sorry, I'm just going to. Okay, N-API feature suggestions to consider. So I don't know if there's been any discussion on that since the last time we looked. I think we've had some discussions. Looks like, Nicola, you've started to work on a PR?
Yeah, I started working on this request, and I added two new functions that I called the N-API create function with length and the N-API define class with length. In the function that we use to create the function and the constructor for I just passed the sites of the number of the parameters. So it works. I have the tests, but I need to add to my pull request. But I don't know if this approach is right.
Okay.
So and yeah, I gave this name with to the function. I don't know if you agree, and I'm open to feedback.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. We'll take a look and provide feedback unless anybody has some comments right now.
The approach is that we continue to maintain the N-API define class and N-API create function, and that will become a special case of N-API create function with length and N-API define class with length.
Right.
So this is my my idea.
Yep. It makes sense to me. I guess the one question I'd have is, like, does passing this 0 end up doing the exact same thing as we do today, where we don't specify it at all?
Yes, because if you don't specify the parameter, the default is 0, because
Okay.
in the V8 function new that we use in N-API create function and N-API define class, the default parameter for the sites of the argument is for the number of the argument, sorry, is 0.
Okay.
So today it take 0 because we don't provide this parameter.
Okay. Okay, so it's automatically setting it to 0. So that should be exact. Like, it's actually a parameter that's there that we didn't fill in, and it fills it in for us. So
If you want, I can add a comment with the reference to V8 documentation.
Yeah, that would be, yeah, that wouldn't hurt for sure.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. Any other questions, comments on that one before we move on? No? Okay. What should go into NAPI 5? I think this one is really just a tracking in terms of, you know, what has gone into the different releases. Nicola, I guess you mentioned here, of course, this one we have a PR that's waiting on those, right?
Yeah, we have a PR on Node.js API that add the date, but I some weeks ago asked Gabriel if we can merge this, but he answered me that we need to wait the back ports of this future, and we have now some pull requests
Right.
about the porting, and we are following. We need to follow this work.
Yeah.
I think that Gabriel are following these projects.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, so that's moving ahead just as the time that its releases go out. We need some original async worker variants. So I know there's some discussion, unless I don't know if anybody started working or looked at that.
Not yet. I think not yet.
Right. Okay. So that's just there. We've got it sort of in our backlog. Workshop. So I think Jim commented that there was for Node.js Interactive, if I remember correctly, it was accepted.
Yeah, Node.js Interactive, we put in a workshop and a birds of a feather, and they accepted the workshop. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, NodeConf EU declined.
Okay.
Which is not too surprising since we were there last year.
Yeah, so it's actually good that we've covered off the one that we didn't do last year, so that's good.
Yeah. So I think at this point we need to decide what topics I should be adding to the tutorial website.
We have, we have a comment
about. I'm sorry, Nicola. Go ahead.
Have in the issue, we have a comment about what we need to add. And today I had, new tutorials. The second comment, Michael.
Okay, right here. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I will start working on those this week.
Okay. And please ping me if you want a suggestion or feedback. I won't help.
Oh, thank you, Nicola. I'll do it.
Don't worry about the time.
Okay.
Because usually I don't sleep too much.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we should also work on promoting the existing workshops and stuff. Like we actually got a pretty good bump last year.
Yes.
Thinking about it, we should probably, start promoting them more regularly and ask the foundation, Twitter handle and all that to do that as well.
That would be great.
So I don't know if we think we should, because even now we could kind of post, if there was something, it's almost like if somebody posted a blog about that, do we have something that sort of summarizes them or is an intro to them? Then we could see if we could get that promoted.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I have the materials that I submitted to the workshops to kind of describe them, so we could repurpose that material.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking like now what we would be good to put out something and promote the existing ones. Like, hey, we did this great set of workshops at last NodeConf.
Ah,
You go through them here, you can, and then like
yeah.
as we get closer to NodeConf, Node in plus JS Interactive, we can say, hey, we're going to be releasing a new set of them
Okay.
there, right? So
Yeah. Okay. So, what about I in the back of my mind, I've always had Node Weekly firing off a little note to Node Weekly
yeah,
saying that they're out there and available.
that would be good.
So I can definitely do that, Michael.
Yeah, maybe like it would be. Do you want to put a little bit of thought into what we could do to promote it in terms of like blogs and because I'm sure we can ask the foundation account to like help us promote them.
Okay. Sure.
And Node Weekly is another good one. So maybe if you say, hey, here's a few different things that we should do, and the thought I had was kind of like, and build it up towards, and hey, if you happen to be now at Node plus JS Interactive. Actually,
Yeah.
maybe that's one way we could actually do. The first sort of blog or whatever could be, hey, we were happy to announce that we'll be doing a new set of workshops at Node plus JS Interactive. We're going to be adding some new ones, but if you want to take go through the existing ones, here they are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And think about what could we then say a month from now and then the month before that, and
Yeah.
sort of generate interest and publicity for them. I think would be great.
Okay. Okay. I will work on that this week, Michael, and then I'll put my notes on this issue.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Okay. Focus on async worker. There's a number of issues. So this one I know that Kevin had worked on, and we were getting close.
Yeah.
Now there was even, right, we've addressed all but no support for error objects. That one, no return values. Right, so this get result, which I think landed, did it?
Yeah, it's landed.
Okay, so that one already landed, in which case, really the only thing we had left on this one was no support for error, no support for error objects. But we kind of thought we had a solution to that. For return values, so, would be but we think there is a way to handle that. As does that seem reasonable? Basically, Kevin Land has changed outlined above for return values, so the only issue to address would be the one related to error objects, but we think there is a way to handle that, which was described as, right, it should be possible to decorate the error object passed on error, so we believe this was being asked for as possible by adding extra info to the instance of the main thread. And then using that information to decorate the error passed in on error. Is there something we're missing? Does that seem reasonable to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see if we get an answer that clarifies why not. Otherwise, I'd kind of be thinking we're close to be able to close this one with, we've addressed the concerns. And, sorry, here we go. I haven't had it. SQL8. Okay, sorry. Investigate API to help avoid future breakage. Anybody have anything to add to that one? I know Gabriel had found a number of ones that were using an API, which was good. But other than that, I don't think there's anything too new. I think you were looking at the ICONV, and I saw there was a bit back and forth. What happened on that?
Yeah, sorry. I totally forgot. I have to rebase. Yeah, I will do later.
Okay, perfect. Otherwise, then SQL8 port, Jim, anything new on that front?
Yes, so I have all of the unit tests passing on my Mac, including the ones that had to be commented out earlier. So
Excellent.
that's good. All of the other builds, all of the builds are failing pretty much on the CI. So I've got to figure out why the builds are failing.
Okay.
So it's not even getting to the unit tests there. So it's moving forward slowly, but moving forward.
Okay, so that's like once you get those tests, then the next step was to like try and detangle a bit from libuv. Was the
That's exactly it. That's exactly it, Michael.
Okay, so would they pass locally, but yeah, then with the CI, figure out what's going on there. So
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Burn down list of issues raised by module owners. I'm just back, so I don't know if there's any issues we should talk about in the repos. No, okay. There's nothing there. Then I guess, is there anything else anybody wants to bring up and discuss this week before we call it?
The guy put an issue on pre-build. Apparently, you can use CMake as a backend to pre-build as an alternative to Node.js.
Okay.
And so I've put in support there so that there was an API module builder who wanted to use CMake as the backend. So I've got a PR in there. So that was kind of a nice little thing to have for pre-build.
That's quite interesting. Is there like documentation blogs or anything that talk about building your modules with CMake instead of?
Yeah. If you go to there's a module called CMake-Node.
Okay.
And that
or Node CMake?
Yeah, that could be it.
Okay. Well, it's the same thing, just in different orders, right?
Yeah. So this describes how to use it.
Okay.
For people who prefer to use CMake over JIP.
Okay.
So it's cleaner in the sense that you have fewer dependencies. And pre-build's very nice because pre-build's a very lightweight wrapper on these builds. So if you choose to use CMake, you've got just pre-build and, well, this Node CMake and then CMake. So it makes a very clean little workflow.
Okay. It's interesting, especially since we're still like in core, no JIP JIP has been kind of deprecated by Google. So we're maintaining it sort of, but for a core, we may move to something else. I mean, and CMake is one of the candidates we've discussed. So it's kind of interesting in that, it's good to be aware of that you can use it fairly easily, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, so you added something into the pre-build so that it works with API and okay.
It was like a 3-line change, and then you got to do all the documentations. You got to put in a unit test. You got to pass all the CI. It's like, oh my gosh. So the CI is failing now for reasons unrelated to the changes I made.
Okay.
But that pre-build or that PR should land here pretty soon, I would think.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And I'm just wondering, like, should somewhere in any of our docs, should we have links to that, or
Huh.
like a flow that says, hey, if you're using cbuild, here's how, like, because you put together something on like, here's how you use pre-build with regular add-ons, right?
Correct.
And maybe,
Yes.
is there any worth extending that to talk about CMake or?
Yeah, I could. I believe I have a pre-build tutorial, so I could definitely augment that with the CMake
Okay.
notes also.
That makes sense, because then there's somewhere we can point people if they say, hey, it sounds interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Any other things people want to bring up or discuss?
That's everything I had, Michael.
Okay. Well, thanks for everybody for taking the time, both in the meeting and those who are watching. And we'll talk to everybody next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.